Okay, this video is going to go over a little bit about arithmetic sequences. So let's see what an arithmetic sequence is. So it's going to be a sequence that looks like a sub n, so the nth term of the sequence, is going to equal a sub 1, which is the first term of the sequence, plus d, which has a particular name, the common difference, times the quantity n minus 1. So in this, we have d is the common difference. So you got to make sure that you understand that idea. And also n is going to be the term number. So if I want the 7th term of this sequence, I'm just going to let n equal 7, plug it into the formula, it'll give me the 7th term. There's actually a more general way of writing this. So the more general way, we don't necessarily need to know the first term, we just need to know a term, and we need to know the common difference. So the more general form would say a sub n is equal to a sub k plus d times the quantity n minus k. So in this case, maybe I know the 53rd term, so k is going to equal 53. And I can still get my sequence as long as I can figure out what d is equal to. And what I want you to do right now is just kind of, in your mind, just compare this to something you already know, and that thing you already know is point-slope form of a line, which is, you might know it as y minus y0 equals m, and then the quantity x minus x0, but I've rewritten it, I've moved the y0 over just so they look really similar, and we're going to find out they behave very, very similarly. So let's take a look at an example of an arithmetic sequence, just to make sure you can kind of figure out what's going on. So we have 6, 9, 12, 15. First thing you want to do is you want to just figure out the term numbers, so this would be n equals 1 is 6, and then when n is 2 I get 9, and when it's 3 I get 12, and then, when it's 4 I get 15. So my goal here is I need to figure out what the common difference is. So what I do is I subtract 6 from 9, and I get 3, which means that to go from 6 to 9 I have to add 3. If I subtract 9 from 12, I'm going to get 3, which means to go from 9 to 12 I have to add 3. So we're getting this common difference. It means that the difference between consecutive terms will always be the same. So in this case, d is equal to 3. That's the common difference between the terms. So now I know that a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus d times the quantity n minus 1. So you have to know that formula. If you don't know that, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble when you're dealing with these. Although you can figure it out, it's just so much easier to know it. I know what d is, I know what a sub 1 is, so I can actually just write my sequence. So I get a sub n is 6 plus 3 times the quantity n minus 1. So this will generate terms of the sequence. So for example, what I might want to do is find a sub 5, which is very easy to do in this case because I know a sub 4 and I know the common difference, so I better get 18 when I do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 5 and plug it into my formula. So a sub 5 is going to be 6 plus 3 times the quantity 5 minus 1, which, a little bit of math here, 6 plus 3 times 4, which is 6 plus 12, which is 18, which is exactly what I was looking for. So it worked. Let's take a look at another example. So 28, 21, 14, 7. So those are my term numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Common difference. So how do I go from 28 to 21? Well, I'm going to do 21 minus 28, get negative 7, and just confirm. And in fact, to go from any term to the next term, I have to subtract 7 from it, which makes sense. So the 5th term of this sequence should be 0, which I'm not going to figure out, but it definitely is 0. So I know that the common difference is negative 7. I know the first term is 28, so I'm all ready to write my sequence. So I get a sub n is going to be 28 plus negative 7 times the quantity n minus 1, but of course you're not going to leave your answer like that. So a sub n is 28 minus 7 times the quantity n minus 1. Okay, so that's some of the basics of this. I'm going to come back in another video and do a couple of examples of things you actually do with this equation. So until then, I hope this was helpful and good luck.